COVID-19 is still a big concern with a lot of people around the world, and with that potentially causing lockdowns and hurting a bunch of businesses. But this business could definitely see an upside to COVID because of all the people staying home and learning new hobbies. And this stock is JOAN Fabrics. We're going to break down everything that you need to know about JOAN Fabrics and give our prediction on it and whether or not this is a stock that you guys should potentially look at for your portfolio. But without further ado, man, let's give it some razzle dazzle and hop into it. So let's talk about JOAN Fabrics. This stock is one of the stocks that right now I personally came across probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago, entered a position into it, and I'm looking for the upside in this stock. I think it's got a great potential. A lot of people staying home because of COVID. I think this is going to cause, massive growth for JOAN Fabrics. So let's start off with the news, and then we'll kind of break it down and just keep going into it. So first things first is they joined the Russell 2000 index, which is a leading index for index funds across America. They included JOAN Fabrics, which increases their visibility to investors. So again, they just IPO'd on the NASDAQ. I think it was back in March or April. In about mid-March is when they IPO'd, and it's been on a run ever since. It kind of is consolidated right now, but the growth that we're going to show you guys in this video, it's the potential's there. The potential is there, so don't sleep on this one. But let's go ahead and look at the stock, and we'll break down the earnings and everything as well. So looking at the stock, you guys can see right now. So again, the IPO back here, it IPO'd a little, around the $10, $12 mark, and then it kind of pulled back to $9.75. But after that pullback, after the recent IPO, it just was on a tear all the way up to almost $18. At $17.50, and then we kind of pulled back, and it's kind of consolidated around this $14, $15 mark for quite some time. Today, at the time of this recording, it was down 4.5%, so potential to enter the stock, dollar cost average in, maybe out dollar cost average down. But it is, to me, the growth here is looking real good,
Yeah, we were talking before this recording with, COVID going on. It got a lot of people that weren't into, certain hobbies, into those hobbies. And, now even if we don't get locked down or anything happens with COVID again, it got a lot of, probably millions of people that, are now shopping at JOAN that, otherwise wouldn't have.
Exactly.
With your wife with the cricket that you were telling me about. And
Yeah. So my wife does a bunch of t-shirt sales, or not t-shirt sales, but she likes to make t-shirts for her job and stuff. And that sends her into JOAN Fabrics for, the stuff for the materials and stuff like that. So, the potential growth there, and that's something she just picked up because of COVID lockdown. So
exactly.
It's stuff like that could be massive potential for this stock. And if we look at tip ranks, we can see that the upside here is crazy from where it's at right now. We got a strong buy of 7 analysts saying buy. We have an upside as of right now of 23.94%, almost 24% to the average of $18.17. So right now the price is the price of the stock is $14.66, but it's a high of $20, which is an upside of almost 36%. And I honestly think I have a price prediction for JOAN Fabrics by the end of the year. I would love to see it sitting around this $18 mark, maybe even pushing $19 as things start to, because I know a lot of states are pulling back. A lot of states are starting to require mask mandates, which could potentially lead to more shutdowns depending on how things go. And if that happens, I think that's going to push more people into their door. With them being listed on the Russell 2000 index, that's going to give them more exposure to more investors, and I think we could see this thing run all the way back up to that $18, $19 mark by the end of the year. But their last quarterly earnings did not disappoint either. They beat expectations from Wall Street, and they absolutely crushed it. And honestly, I thought JOAN Fabrics was more of a dying company, but these earnings, it's kind of surprised me, and honestly, that's why I opened my position with them.
Right. We talked about this before too, when you actually brought JOAN, to my attention, because they've been around forever. And I thought they were just dying as well. And it surprised me that, they've been around, like I said, forever, and they just now IPO'd. I thought that was kind of weird. But, so their revenue sales both increased 15% over the same period last year. Net income increased $38.7 million to $15.1 million compared to the same period last year. So, last year they had a pretty big loss. I'm assuming that's because of COVID, they were probably shut down, during that quarter or for most of that quarter. Their adjusted EBITDA increased 165% to 57.5 million compared to the same period last year. Gross margin increased 23.1% compared to the same period last year. Income, like I said, was 15.1 million compared to the loss of 23.6 million that they had last year. And they also announced its first quarterly dividend of 10 cents per share. So,
Right.
I mean, that's pretty exciting stuff too.
Right. And I think that's the growth that we're seeing here. And I think it's only going to get better as time goes on and as these craft things start to become more and more of a thing. With TikTok and Pinterest and Instagram, like people are starting to get into these things. And I know there's a bunch of hobby stores. So I think even though this is an older company, been around for quite a while, I still think there's still potential growth here.
It seemed like they're more getting with the times and stuff. They're
Right.
not like just doing like fabric and stuff like that. Like I remember from a kid, from going into their stores. So yeah, they're getting getting with the times, which is good if you don't want your company to die. So
right, exactly. So let's go ahead and look at the stock chart, show you guys what it's looking like stock wise, when it'd be a good time to enter or exit the position, and we'll talk about our future plans with it as well. So looking at the stock charts, we can see that right now the RSI is at about a 41, which is a little bit lower than where you want to see it, which tells me it's a little oversold because the last couple days it did have a pullback here. Obviously going from the all-time high of $17.50, we did have a slight pullback, but for the most part, it's pretty consolidated. It was above the 50-day moving average. I thought it was going to bounce off of it, but it's kind of dropped down below. But we'll see what happens in the coming weeks, see if it kind of rebounds and goes off of that. It hasn't been around long enough for a 200-day moving average, so we'll have to give it some more time and see where that goes. But look at this chart. I mean, that's a solid increase over the amount of time that it's just been on the market. And I'm really hoping that we see a turnaround here. Now, for me personally, since I'm in this stock, I do not see this thing being more than maybe a 1 to 2 year hold. I don't think I'm going to hold it longer than that. It might be a case of when COVID and things start to open back up, I may even exit my position with them just because you figured that the slowdown, people are going to be getting outside, doing other things, that's going to drastically impact their sales and their earnings and stuff like that. So definitely one to keep an eye on. I wanted to show you guys as well. If we just go to Google real quick, and let me go ahead and pull this up, and I will show you guys the kind of growth that we are seeing with JOAN over the last coming months. So over the past, obviously the last month has been kind of consolidated and it's been up and down. Again, it definitely took a big hit today, but the last 6 months up 19.6%. The last 6 months, that is absolutely crazy. And I mean, obviously, if we click the year to date, it's not going to change because they've only been IPO'd since March. But I'm seeing a solid increase here. I definitely think we could see some decent growth, especially with a lot of analysts giving it a buy rating and upwards of $20. So there might be some quick cash here to be had, within the next 6 to 8 months. But that's going to wrap up this video. If you guys enjoyed this kind of analysis, let us know down in the comment section below. Hit that like, share, notification bell, even the sub button. It really helps support the channel. We try to bring new stocks to you guys every day, but we also talk a lot about NEO on this channel. So if you guys are into NEO, hit that sub button. It's going to keep you guys up to date on all things stock market and even NEO related news. But we also got links down in the description, one down there for the Patreon that gets you access to our Discord, gets you access to the family that we have over there, our portfolios, the Discord portfolio, and we're bringing more value to that Discord here in the next coming weeks as well. But we also got stock merchandise down there, Stock Dudes merchandise. Go get yourself a cool t-shirt. We just released a new one the other day. Super cool. We'll be getting ours here soon in the mail. And then we also got one down there for Webull if you're interested in signing up for Webull. But again, thank you guys so much for all your support, and we'll see you guys in the next video.